Hi guys, welcome to our presentation. We are the Cool Kids Gang and we are tackling Challenge 3. The use case. So Highways England want to develop a system to collect and analyse the mental health data from the employees to improve project performance and staff wellbeing. In order to do this, we were tasked with creating an application to collect data in a fast and efficient manner. We then need to visualise this in Power BI and perform some analytics to get insights into wellbeing and how that influences projects and vice versa. Planning. So we planned through a Miro board. We had the indication of the brief, agenda, ideas and planning. We broke it down into separate components and our teams are also broken down into that. So we had people developing questions, data collection, storage, visualization, and then the presentation. And you can see our flow there down the bottom. It was using Power Apps, Cognitive Services, SharePoint and Power BI.
So we needed to eliminate the neutral response to create a positive or negative bias within the data. This meant that we had 4 answers for each question, which range from strongly agree, agree, disagree, and strongly disagree. All the questions were designed the same to gain insight into the general well-being of the individuals. This had stress, energy, anxiety, and mood, allowing us to gain a judge of each of them. We considered various formats of questions, one being a multiple choice selection where the answers were scaled. Each question had a follow-up free text section prompting the user to elaborate. Within the free text question, we were able to use natural language processing to categorize the main issues. We have done this to minimize the time spent filling out the questionnaire and gain as much insight as possible.
I'll give you a demo of the app we used for the data collection. So it's built within Power Apps, and there's a start screen which collects some metadata for weather, timestamp, etc. And it's basically driven from a lot of SharePoint lists. So we use drop downs for the project, and then the questions come from another SharePoint list. And each time you press the submit button, it will fire off to the SharePoint list. And if you give a positive value, so a 3 or a 4 score, you'll go to the next main question. But if it's a lower score, so a 1 or a 2, you then get prompted to fill in a free text box. And when you do that and press the submit button, this then goes to the Microsoft Cognitive Services, gets analysed there and gives you a sentiment score and also some key phrases. And then these are also sent to the SharePoint list so we can analyse them later on. And SharePoint list is here with sentiment, language, what people answered, some key phrases.
On the left here, we can see we've got a hamburger with opens up to offer filters where you can filter down through the project name, project manager, whether the project is on time or on budget. At the top, you can see we got the breakdown of the responses from the questions that we asked. In the bottom, we've got word cloud that has been brought through from the data through the open answer sections in the app via the Microsoft Text Analytics API, which has also helped produce a sentiment average at the top right. In the bottom right, we've got the number of responses by project score. So in project 2, you can see we've had a high number of responses, but the project score is quite low, indicating that the staff on that project have got negative feelings towards it.
On the second page, we've started drilling down into the performance of the project. So started looking at whether the project is late and on budget, and then we looked at the number of answers against that. So you can start seeing whether a late project gives more negative responses or on time and on budget project gives more positive. And then we've done a distribution chart here showing the different answers against each project.
In terms of senior managers, our Power BI visual allows staff to draw on mental well-being and stress and how this links to project status. We can look at things such as schedule variance, workload, and give insights into specific stages of a project. From here, management can then implement intervention strategies to help improve project productivity. In terms of staff and users, we wanted it to be easy for them to be able to register kind of their well-being quite quickly. So the Power App itself is quite easy to use, and it allows us to capture various aspects of their well-being.
The future development of this project would involve a quarterly questionnaire that uses the topics profound through the weekly questionnaire as areas of concern to drill down further into them and see where the problem lies. We would use machine learning combined with various metrics from external information sets such as the weather or various other things that could affect the mental well-being of our staff members. And use machine learning to create a well-being metric that can allow us to follow trends. Actionable insights that a project director would gain from the analysis. They would be able to understand how various aspects of well-being are impacting project productivity at a detailed level. They can tie mental states such as tiredness to overworking or mood to seasonal changes. The implementation of ML will allow risks to be predicted and mitigated, and mitigation strategies to be developed before they occur. Operating within a Microsoft environment, the directors can understand work breakdown structures, so intervention from management can be focused to the people responsible. How would you use this information in practice? Walk us through with some examples. So for an example, you can inspect which projects have the most overtime hours and therefore recruit additional employees. For example, if 10 people were doing 5 hours 5 hours overtime in a week, that would perhaps justify an additional role. The project life cycle in comparison to staff mental state. As a project director, you can use our questionnaire to monitor the staff's mental state in relation to the key milestones, perhaps shifting and readjusting them to allow for a more even mental state for the staff. What is the risk of being able to reverse engineer the data to discover the originator? So this is about anonymity. So we have completed a trial run to reverse engineer the data and discovered that it is not possible. The risk will be more likely dependent on the size of the project and the number of people involved. For example, if a certain project is small enough and the questions asked detailed enough, it might reveal who is assigned to each bit of data. We also have minimum risks by bracketing responses as opposed to providing exact figures. This should further prevent identification.